today I will going to start a new chapter in mathematics of class 10th, which is probability. Okay, so basically if you are going to start any new chapter, you should have to understand first what is the meaning of this chapter, why you are going to study this chapter. Do not go and directly solve the question. Understand the basic concept, all the terminologies, what we have to study, what we have to understand, and then after knowing all these things, you will be able to solve all the questions without any help also. Okay, so first of all, just I wanted to give some brief on that. Probability is a chapter of your unit 7, which consists of two topics, statistics and probability. Okay, in the chapters in unit 7 there will be two topics we have to study. One is probability, another is statistics. Unit 7 is containing of 11 marks, so from the unit 7 11 marks of question will be asked in your main board exam. Out of that, the marks can be divided as 6 marks from the statistics and 5 marks from the probability, or 6 marks from the probability or 5 marks from the statistics. That means you are going to, when I will complete this chapter, you will be able to get at least 5 to 6 marks minimum. 5 to 6 marks minimum you will be able to get this from this chapter. So you have to understand the concept. My way of teaching will be different. You have to understand the concept, you have to understand the things, and then one by one we'll take some questions. I will try to solve it. I will ask the question to you only, and then if you will solve the question, you will be able to find it is very easy, and there is no question that you will not able to solve after understanding the whole chapter. So first we will see the chapter overview. Chapter overview means basically the question is, what do you mean by probability? First question is, what do you mean by probability? Second will be why should we study probability? Of course, if you are going to study any topic, you should have to know that why I am going to study this one. This will give you the interest in the topic. Okay. Third is marks contribution in your exam. That's what I have told here. Marks contribution in the exams. Okay. Then once we will understand this point, then we will see content we are going to study in this chapter. Okay. So it is first thing we have to understand 9th class recap. So what we have studied in 9th class, because this chapter was there in the 9th class also. So 9th class recap will do. Recap means we'll just review once what we have studied in the 9th class. We'll just remember once, and then we'll have second thing, meaning of experiment and experimental probability. Third thing is meaning of theoretical probability. Fourth is what is event. Fifth is what do you mean by equally likely event. Sixth is complement of an event. Seventh is impossible event. Eighth is sure event. Ninth is detail on playing card, because in this particular chapter you will get so many questions on the playing card, so you have to understand the whole concept of the playing card. So this is a whole completely new thing that I will tell you in detail. So these all things we have to study. And then what type of questions will be there in this whole chapter is, one will be the point related question, another will be playing card related questions, another will be musical chair related question, another will be die related questions, and some other types of questions also will be there. Okay, so what I have said, now you have to just understand that this chapter is important not only in the 10th class. 9th and 10th is the base, but probability is used in approximately all the fields. Whether you are in the daily life situation, whether you are in the engineering life, whether you are in the medical life, whether you are doing business, whether you are going to take any decision, this thing is very important. And how you can relate this thing to your life, I will going to explain in this. Why should we study probability? Okay, so let me start. Okay. So first thing is, what do you mean by probability? Okay, fine. So see, if I will say, okay, you are going to play a cricket. Okay, you are going to play cricket and you have two teams, right? You are from one team, another team is there, and both team will have a captain. first thing is like we have to do the toss. Okay, so when you are going to do the toss, let me take a coin. Okay, so when you are going to do the toss, see, on doing the toss, this is a coin, this part is head, this part is tail, and another part is head. Everybody is knowing that, right? So when you will do the toss, do you think that why you are doing the toss? You are doing the toss because you wanted to know who is going to win. When I will call that I want tail, so I will do the toss like this. Okay, I will do the toss, and then it will fall on the ground. And if you have called tail and tail is not there on the ground, that means you have lost, right? So that means when you say tail, that means you have just think like, if tail will come, that means my probability of winning the chance, winning the, that toss is high, is 1 basically. 1, not 1 by 2. I will explain better, okay? So that means when you are going to toss the coin, you are going to get a chance that, you will be getting, either you will be winning or either you will be losing. So this is what, when what do you mean by probability? Means probability is like likelihood to that, something is going to happen. Probability means something is going to happen, but we are not sure what will happen. Like when I am tossing the coin, it is sure that either the tail will come or head will come, but I am not sure what will exactly come. So I am just assuming. So probability basically mean, this word mean, in Hindi we can say sambhavna, right? In Hindi we will say sambhavna, or in the probability means something is coming to happen, but we are not sure. Okay, so why should we study about the probability? Means what is the relation? And also before that, you just understand, if I will say, see, your probability of getting the tail, let us say you have called the tail during the toss, and I will say your probability of getting the tail is 0.2. That means you have a very less chance that you are going to win the toss. That means if the probability is very low, if the probability is low, that means you have a less chance to win. If the probability is high, that means you have a high chance to win, right? So, you can also say some probability will be 0, some probability will be exactly 1. That we'll discuss when we will discuss all these things. So, why should we study about the probability? Okay. So it is a very nice thing, because if you understand that why should we study probability, then only you will feel that okay, this is for me and I have to understand. So okay, fine. See, being a well-informed citizen, being a citizen of India, we should have to understand the risk what you can face, the challenges what we are facing. Everywhere the challenges is there. I am facing some challenges with my work. You can face the challenges with your study. Your fathers might face the challenges with your business. Challenges means some difficulties, right? So let us say, if I will say that okay, something you wanted to buy. Let us say some mobile you wanted to buy. If I will say, see, the probability of getting the probability that you will get the mobile, if you have ordered the mobile online, let us say Amazon.com, but you are staying in a very remote area, means it is not in the like city or somewhere, you are in the village somewhere, so Amazon might not reach to that location. So if I will say, see, the probability of getting the product if you are ordered from the online is low. That means you can think of, oh, if probability is low, then I should not order, right? अगर मेरा संभावना घर पे अपने गांव में उस सामान को पहुंचने का कम है, अगर कोई एक जानकार आदमी आपसे बोल रहा है कि देखिए आपका ये सामान आने का संभावना कम लग रहा है, आप ऑर्डर करेंगे तो हम समझ सकते हैं ना कि ये संभावना कम है, तो हम थोड़ा सा उस पर रिस्क नहीं लेंगे. और अगर हम ये बोलते हैं कि लेट अस से तुम एक बिजनेस खोलने जा रहे हो, लेट अस से यू आर गोइंग टू स्टार्ट अ बिजनेस, ओके, and in that business if I will say the probability of the business getting success, the probability of getting the business succeed, you are going to earn more with that business is very high. If I will say like that, अगर हम ये बोले कि आप जो बिजनेस खोलने जा रहे हैं वो पक्का आप सक्सेस होंगे उसमें, आपको बहुत कमाएंगे, इसका मतलब यही हुआ कि मुझे रिस्क उसमें कम दिख रहा है क्योंकि हमको सपोर्ट मिल रहा है, राइट। तो प्रोबेबिलिटी हम अपने लाइफ में इसलिए यूज करते हैं कि उससे हम अपने रिस्क को एनालिसिस करते हैं कि मुझे कोई काम करने में कितना रिस्क है। अगर प्रोबेबिलिटी कम है, मतलब अगर रिस्क कम है तो हम उसके लिए जाएंगे। अगर हमको मोबाइल लेने में अगर रिस्क कम रहता तो हम पक्का ऑर्डर कर लेते, लेकिन अगर रिस्क ज़्यादा है तो हम सोचेंगे रिस्क नहीं लेना चाहिए, हमको नहीं ऑर्डर करना चाहिए। या अगर बिजनेस कर रहे हैं, कोई हमको बोल रहा है कि सर आपका रिस्क ज़्यादा है, इस एरिया में आपका बिजनेस नहीं चलेगा, मतलब आपका प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ दिस बिजनेस टू रन इन दिस एरिया इज़ वेरी लो, तब हम बोलेंगे नहीं, अगर मेरा बिजनेस लो हो रहा है दैट मीन्स आई शुड नॉट गो फॉर द business, I will go for another business, something else. Okay, that is why we should have to study probability in detail. So here in the 10th class you might have to study very less, but if you go to 11th, if you go to 12th, if you go to engineering, if you go to engineering college, if you are working if you are working in some industry, everywhere this word and this concept will be used everywhere. So that is why you have to understand this chapter very, you have to understand this chapter as clear as possible, so that if you have any questions you can ask the questions at any point of time. But and at the end of the chapter I want like each of you should have a great knowledge on this chapter, at least to solve all the questions of your book without my help. I will try to do like that. Okay, so third is mass contribution, I have said. So first is 9th class recap. Let me tell you that what is that 9th class recap is. Okay, so you just note down this one, then I will delete it. Fine. I'm deleting all because these all things you will see later, questions and all. I have just given the overview. Okay, so we'll go one by one and then we'll delete it from here. So first is 9th class recap. This is not a point that you should have to write down or something, but I am recapping, means I am just recalling the things what we have studied in 9th class. See, you might have studied, if you remember the things of 9th class, then you might have studied like let us say one coin is there, again this coin is there. If you are tossing this coin, it is sure that either you will get tail or either you will get head. So what I am saying, when I am tossing a coin, either I will get head or either we will get tail. Only these two things is possible, right? This tail or this head, nothing else. If it will fall like this, see, I have seen head is there. If it will fall like that, I have seen tail is there. So only these two possibilities are there. Okay, so in the 9th class we have seen something like experimental probability. Okay, so what do you mean by experiment? First of all, you have to understand. See, experiment means you are going to do some repetitive task Okay, and you are going to know that I will be getting some output. Okay, so what I am saying that experiment means you are sure that something is going to happen. Okay, when you are going to do some experiment, some output will be coming. That is called experiment. Okay, so if I will say I am tossing the coin, that means surely either head will come or either tail will come. That is the experiment. Let us say if I am going to toss this coin for multiple times. Let us say first time I have tossed the coin, I got head and tail. First time I have tossed the coin, so I got, let us say, head. First time I have tossed this coin, I got head. Second time I have tossed this coin, I got head. Third time I have tossed this coin, I got tail. Fourth time I have tossed this coin, I got tail. Fifth time I have tossed this coin, I got head. Sixth time I have tossed this coin, I got tail. Similar way, we can toss the coin for n number of times. N number of times means I don't know how much time. You want for 1000 times, you can toss the coin for 1000 times. So let us say if I am doing an experiment on the coin, so that I just wanted to see that after tossing the coin for 1000 times, if I will get, let us say I have got head equals to 450 times and tail equals to 550 times. See, this is the experiment. That's what I have given the actual number. So what I wanted to say is, let us say I am going to do the experiment for 1000 times. So of course, if you are going to do the experiment with your coin, so either you will get head or either you will get tail. You cannot get head and tail both at the same time, right? So let us say first time I got head, second time I got head, third time I got tail, fourth time I got tail, fifth time I got head, sixth time I got tail. Similarly, something will be getting head, tail, something. Okay. So at finally, I am saying that I got head 450 times out of 1000. That means tail will be 1000 minus 440. That is 1000 minus 450, right? So 550, right? So this means out of total, let me delete this one also. Out of total 1001, total number of times I have done the experiment is 1000. 450 times I have got head and 550 times I have got tail. So I will say, what is the probability of getting head? What is the probability of getting head on doing the experiment for 1000 times using a coin? So you can say that probability equals to number of times. The number of times this head happened is 450, but a total number of times we have done the experiment is 1000. Barabar, if you can say 0.450, right? So that means because you are knowing that 450 times I have got the head, so I have easily calculated the probability of head, right? Easily I have calculated. And similarly for the tail, you can calculate probability of tail equals to 550 by 1000 barabar 0.550. Fine. But because here 450 and 550 you are knowing, that is why you have easily found the probability. And this process is called experiment. Whatever I have done here, it is an experiment. And what you have got here, this value and this value, this is called experimental probability. Okay. This is what you have studied in the 9th class. Let me delete this one. Okay. the ninth class we have studied about experiment and experimental probability. And experimental probability means we are sure that something is going to happen. Okay, means we are sure that 450 times head came. We are knowing that. That is why we have calculated the probability. But now the question is, okay, let me say you. Okay, I am just deleting this part. You write it down. But let me say you, okay, because I have done the experiment for 1000 times. I am saying that let us say Pradeep here, I have done the experiment. Pradeep done experiment. And then one more person, Ambes done experiment. Priyanka done experiment. So what I wanted to say you, previously you have seen that some person has done the experiment for 1000 times, you are able to find the probability. But now what I said, because they have done for 1000 times, now I have taken 3 person. Okay, Pradeep, Ambesh, Priyanka. So again they are going to do some experiment. Let us say Pradeep is going to do the experiment for 10,000 times. Ambesh is going to do the experiment for 1 lakh times. And Priyanka is going to do the experiment for 10 lakh times. Fine. So if I will say Pradeep and the experiment is the same, it is on the tossing of a coin. Experiment is on the same tossing of a coin, but previous example we have seen the experiment has been done for 1000 times and we have got some data. But if I will say the Pradeep has done for the 1000 times and suddenly Ambesh done for 10,000, it is like 1 lakh times, 10 lakh times, something like that. That means as much as the count of the experiment is increasing, it will become a difficult that we can find the exact value, how much time it is coming. Let us say if you have to toss this coin for 1 lakh times, is it possible? Are you able to say that what will come in the next 10 times, 14 times, 15 times, something like that? No. So that means after doing this 1000 times, we found something like 0.450 for the head probability and 0.550 for the tail probability. So after that you can assume that after doing so many times of experiment, we can assume that we can get some probability. So the assumptions what we are going to do during the probability is called as theoretical probability. Experimental probability means you are sure that you will be getting values, but in the theoretical probability, what we are expected to happen. Theoretical means you are expecting that something will happen. Okay, and then we have to find the probability for that. Okay, so you understood the experimental probability. Theoretical probability means if the probability, whatever the probability we are going to find, is what we expect to happen. So let us say if I will say there is one bag is there. In one bag 4 balls are there. Red color 3 balls are there, 1 blue colored balls are there. So I am not sure that if I will, let us say if I will put hand, blindly I will put hand, I will not see the colors and all, I will put the hand, I will take a ball. Are you able to say that which ball you have picked, red color or blue color? No. That means you are just thinking that some ball will come in my hand, but I am not sure. That means these all things will be taken care in the theoretical probability. So second thing we have to study is the theoretical probability. So ninth class was completely on the experimental probability. So in the experimental probability, we have found the probability by the use of formula. If you have remembered, what was the formula? Okay, so if you have remembered that what was the formula for ninth class, this one, probability for the experiment, PE equals to number of trials in which that event happened. Number of trial in which that event happened divided by total number of trials. This is for what? This is for the experimental probability. Right? In the experimental probability, number of trials in which that event happened. Which event? Getting head or tail by number of total trials. So here trials is there. Trials means you are knowing that how much times you have done the experiment, and the number of times you have done the experiment here was, in the first question it was 1000, right? And the number of trials in which that event happened. That event means which event? Let us say if you want to find the probability of head, that means you can say the number of trials in which head happened. So what was that? Number of trials in which head happened was 450. But total number of trials. Total number of trials means 1000. So that is why we have able to find 0.450 is a probability. So this means you can see here in the experimental probability, it is a trial which is happened during some event. But if you talk from the theoretical probability, you can write it, theoretical probability. Theoretical probability means, I will just write the definition here, not definition, the formula, but I will explain these things, very clearly. So number of outcome of favorable to E divided by number of all possible outcomes. You just write it down, you just write it down, and then we'll explain these things, because this definition is just this formula is just a formula, but we have to understand what is the meaning of outcome, what is the meaning of favorable outcome, what is the meaning of possible outcomes. These things we have to understand, then you will be able to fix all the questions, you will be able to solve all the questions. Fine. So one thing you have to keep in mind, in the 10th class, all the questions will be on the theoretical probability. There will be no experimental probability. So now I just recapped you 9th class one, but you just keep it in mind that from here onwards all the questions will be on the theoretical probability. So theoretical probability has another name called classical probability. Okay, just write it down. Theoretical probability has another name, classical probability. Fine. Okay. Now, from here the main thing has started. Okay, from here your class is getting started. Half an hour was just a brief session on this one. From here, all you will feel the questions of the 10th class and understanding of the 10th class topic. So, see, if you will study about probability, the main example will be either coin or die. Die means if you play the Ludo, Chakri, you are saying Chakri, that is a die, right? And if a coin, you know. So why we are taking these two example mostly? Why we used to study the probability, then you are taking coin as an example. Most of the question you will find on the coin. Why? The thing is, coin is very unbiased. Unbiased means coin is not, if you take this 1 rupee and if you throw this like this one, if you tossing this one, you can see that on tossing you are not sure that if it is not like it is fixed. If they will say that see, head will come and it will come head, it is not like that. It is totally unbiased, it is very fair. So that is why whenever you are thinking like even you are going to you are seeing that in the international cricket the tossing is done by the coin, because coin is fair, they will give the fair decision, right? So yeah, one probability is there. One thing you can say, sir, if you toss the coin and let us say coin has been fall down on the sand, okay, then what will happen? It might be like your coin will be either your coin will fall like this or your coin will fall like this, but sometimes your coin will fall like this, tilted one. But that means it is not a head, not a tail. In the ground it will fall like this or this, either it is head or tail. But let us say if you toss the coin, it fall on some of the portion of the earth where it is sand and all these things, it will fall like, you will find like it is tilted one. So these things you can ignore. It is not a scenario always you will be happening, it will be happening. So that means the coin is very fair. So that is why you are going to take most of the example using the coin. You will be going to solve the questions. Most of the questions will be on the coin. So if I will say coin have only two things, head, tail, right? Coin will have only two things, head, tail. Now if I will say, see, if I am going to toss the coin, it will come either head or either tail. See, I said either head or either tail. I have not said like head and tail. Can the coin come with head and tail both when you are tossing? Not possible. That means the probability of coming of head and probability of coming of tail is not at all dependent, as well as it is equally likely. Means it is like it can come head or it can come tail. I am not going to assure you, but both have an equal chance, right? If I am tossing a coin, both have an equal chance. I am not sure whether head will come or tail will come. So the if you are tossing a coin, coming of head either or coming of tail, is equal. Means either it will come as head first toss might came as tail. I cannot restrict it. I cannot say no, tail will not come, head will only come. That is not possible. So in any event, okay, when the outcome is head and tail, or when the outcome have a chance to equally come, that is called equally likely event. So I am saying that coming and the chances of coming head and chances of coming tail is equally distributed. Okay, so that means this is called equally likely event. Now let us say I am giving one more example. Die. Die is there, right? That Ludo Chakri 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are there. So if I will say you are just doing like first one, okay, you have sent you have thrown it out, okay, so you might get 6, or you have thrown it out, you might get 2, you have thrown it out third time, you might get 3. So this thing, like randomly something will come, but do you think that by throwing a die, you found like 2 and 3 came at the same time? You are throwing a single die. Don't say I am throwing the double die. If you throw the 2 die, then it is possible. But if I am throwing a single die, then there is a possibility either 6 will come, either 5 will come, either 4 will come, either 3 will come, either 2 will come, either 1 will come. But it is not like that 6 and 3 will come, at once. Okay, so that means here also we will be getting either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But chances of coming 1, chances of coming 2, chances of coming 3, chances of coming 4, chances of coming 5, chances of coming 6, all is equally distributed. Every number have a equal chance. I am not sure. So here also you have seen chances of coming head and chances of coming tail is equal. Here also you have seen that chances of coming 1 is same as chances of coming 2, is same as chances of coming 3. So this is also called as equally likely. Equally likely, okay? And if I will say about event, right? So what is event? Event means what you are doing. You are saying in the school that there is one event going on. Means there is something you are going to do, right? Some new things you are going to do, or some like you are going to sing a song. That is also an event. You are going to toss a coin. That is an event. You are going to toss throw a die. That is an event. So in an event, the probability of coming of 1, 2, 3 in an event, that is throwing a die, the probability of coming of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is equally distributed. I am not saying that 1 will come 2 times and 2 will come 1 times. I cannot say. I am not sure. But the chances of coming 1 is same as chances of coming 6. So that means it is an equally likely event. Fine. So these things you have to understand, and the questions can be asked in the exam, because from here might be some definition will be asked. What is equally likely event? So you have to understand that equally likely event means when you are doing some event, then the probability of coming of the different outcomes is called, it will be equal. That is called equally likely event, right? So event you have understood. What do you mean by equally likely event? You have understood, right? Fine. So this is equally likely, right? You can write it down. So you can write a definition of equally likely. This is the example. I am giving the definition. You can write it down. Equally likely event. Equally likely event are events that have the same theoretical probability. the event that have same theoretical probability of occurring okay. So examples, what is the example? Each number on a die, right? I have told 1 2 3 4 5 6, okay. When the die is tossed, you will get either 1, either 2, either 3, either 4, either 5, either 6, okay. So next is just opposite to that, you can write it down. Fine. Next is just opposite to that is equally likely and not equally likely, right? So opposite of this equally likely is not equally likely. Topic is not equally likely. See, I told you one example, okay. I have a bag, okay. In the bag I have put it 4 balls. 3 balls are red, 1 ball is blue. I have put it in the bag, okay, and I'm just closing my eye and I'm just putting my hand, I'm taking 1 ball out. So when I'm taking 1 ball out, what is the probability? Means can you able to say that this is a blue or red without seeing it? No. And also can you able to say that whether it will be blue or red? Because first time I have given the hand, I got red, let us say. Again I have kept the ball in the bag, and second time also given the hand in the bag, and again because there is a 3 red and 1 blue ball, I am not seeing the ball. Again I might get blue or I might get red. It is not sure. In the die, you can see that once you have thrown die, whether only one probability is 1. Second time on the 2 or 1 might be, but it is sure that 1 will be coming or 2 will be coming. It is not like a mixed one. But if you go and take the ball from the bag, you are not able to see. It is like for every this one, every events, whenever you are putting first time the hand and second time the hand, third time the hand, you might feel like every time same ball is coming, or you might feel that every time different ball is coming. So you are not sure. The theoretical probability is not correct here. Theoretical probability means we are expecting something, right? But we are not getting that one. So if the theoretical probability is not same, that means it is a unlikely event, not equally likely event, right? So, but this is just a definition, but in whole chapter you will have to think like you are working with the equally likely event. All the questions will be on the equally likely events. So you just keep in mind that what is the definition of the equally likely and not equally likely, but you have to work with the equally likely events. Okay, fine. So we have seen this one. Fine. So now I will say, as I have said previously, like the theoretical probability has some formula, right? Probability of event in the theoretical probability. Theoretical probability I have explained clearly, means we are depending on everything is depending on the outcomes, right? Only the outcomes, because we do not have any, like in the first example what I have said at the earlier, in the 9th class recap, that head is 450 times, tail is 550 times, but that means the outcome is present here. In the 1000 times of experiment, the outcome of head is present here. But if you talk from the theoretical probability, I do not know the outcome. I know that something I have done, but I do not know the outcome. So, if you do not have a proper outcome, then we are saying that it is a probability, theoretical things. And when you have to find the probability of these outcomes, expected outcomes, that is called theoretical probability. So, theoretical probability, formula is P equals to number of outcomes favorable to the event, number of outcomes favorable to event divided by number of all possible outcomes. Of an event. See, this is the formula, and you have to work on this formula only in the whole book. In this probability, all the questions you have to use this formula. So this formula, how we are thinking the outcomes and the possible outcomes, that you will see from the example, then you will understand. Okay, so you write it down. Okay, first of all, fine. So first question we are taking now. First question is question number 1. Find the probability of getting a head when a coin is tossed. Question is, find the probability of getting head when coin is tossed. When a coin, not coin, when a coin is tossed. Also find the probability of getting tail. Okay. Tail, TIL. Okay. So see, question is very easy, but this question you have to understand the formula, how this formula is used here, to understand the favorable outcome and the possible outcome. Question is very easy, I know you can solve it, but understand how the process will be happen here. Find the probability of getting a head, okay, when a coin is tossed. So when a coin is tossed, this is a coin, when I am tossing it, I am not sure what will come, but the question is, tell me what is the probability of getting head. Fine, so I will say, see sir, when I will throw the coin, I will toss the coin, either I will get head or I will get tail. Nothing else is possible, right? Only head is possible or tail is possible. So number of all possible outcomes. This is the all possible outcomes when we are going to toss a coin. So what is this? Number of all possible outcomes. Okay? You can write it down, all possible outcomes. So number of all possible outcomes is head and tail. So this means you can write it as number of, we are saying number of all possible outcomes as a sample space. We are also saying this as another word, sample space. This is, you can see in the higher class basically. So you can see that number of sample space equals to, you can write it as n of s. This is n of s. n of s equals to what? Either head or tail. So 1 and 1, 2, right? Number of sample space equals to 2. Number of all possible outcomes means what all possible outcomes is possible. Means when I am tossing a coin, only head is possible or tail is possible. Because I am tossing a coin only one time. If I will toss a coin for 2 times, might be one time head came, another time tail came, another time tail came, another time tail came. So might be this is possible. That means 4 outcomes is possible. If the question has been given that when 2 coin is tossed, then the answer will be different. But the question is when the coin is tossed, when a coin is tossed means a single coin is tossed, that means either head is possible or tail is possible, right? So number of sample space or number of possible outcomes equals to 2. Now what is the question? Find the probability of getting a head. Getting a head, how many head is here? Only head, 1, right? So number of event equals to, or number of outcomes favorable to the event. What event? Getting head. Getting head is how much? You can write it as n of e. N of e means number of event. Number of event means what? 1. Why 1? Because only one head is here, right? So number of event equals to 1. Number of sample space equals to 2. Number of event also said as outcome favorable. This is called outcome favorable. Okay, this is outcome favorable and this is possible outcomes. So you just have to remember possible outcomes means all the possible outcomes, that is head and tail here on tossing a coin. That is also called as sample space. Sample space, possible outcomes, both is same thing. Favorable outcomes or number of the event is same thing. So number of event means for the particular thing. Getting a head means we have to see the head. Only one time the head came, so I can write 1. So probability means what? Okay, so probability equals to, we'll write probability of the event equals to number of event by number of sample space. Number of event is 1. Number of sample space equals to 2. So probability equals to 1 by 2. 0.5 you can write, or 1 by 2 is also fine. Okay, so this is the probability of getting a head. If I will ask a question here, another question is there, right? Also find the probability of getting a tail. So probability of getting a tail, so you can write it here E, or you can say head. Probability of getting tail equals to number of event by number of sample space equals to number of event is how much for the tail? Only 1. So I will say 1. Number of sample space is again, it is same, 2. So 1 by 2. You can see that when you are tossing a coin, number of probability of getting a head and probability of getting a tail is equal. Why? Yeah, of course equal, right? If I will toss a coin, only 2 things will come, right? So I will say 50-50 chance hai. Okay, that is what 50-50 chance hai. 1 by 2, 1 by 2. It is just on tossing a single coin you are getting this. If you will see this one PH and PT, just let me remove this, erase this point. Okay, if you will see pH equals to 1 by 2, PT equals to 1 by 2. You can see. Or if I will write pH PT equals to 1 minus 1 by 2 equals to what? Let us say, just don't confuse, I am just writing PT equals to 1 minus 2. What will have? 1 by 2. So either I will find the PT value by doing this process, or you can find the PT value by doing 1 minus 1 by 2. So why I have done 1, we will see the maximum value of the probability is what? We'll see in the coming classes. So what is the maximum value of probability can be possible? Then you will be able to understand this point clearly. So currently you just understand number of event by number of sample space equals to probability, right? So this is the first question. You can see. Fine. So I will take one more question, then I will round off, band off, right? See, this will be for 1 hour, 1 hour or 1.5 hour sessions. So you have to give more time on this to understand. And I will not solve all the questions. I will just go through the questions, and the theoretical part is clear. Then you can solve the questions by yourself. Okay. So I am taking another questions. Question number 2. This is the last question for today's session. So a bag contain. Okay, question is, a bag contain a red ball, a blue ball, a yellow ball. This is a bag. This is a bag. Okay. This bag contain a red ball. I will say one ball is red. A blue ball. One ball is blue, and one yellow ball, right? So I don't have yellow sketch, so I will say this is a green. Let us say in place of yellow you take it as a green, right? So the question is, this bag contain a red ball, a blue ball, a green ball. All the balls being of the same size. See, this ball, this ball, this ball, all the ball is of the same size. Question is this. Just assume that all the ball is equal, okay? Kritika takes out a ball from the bag. Kritika, let us say any student is there, okay? Let us say you are Kritika, okay? So you are picking a ball from here, from this bag, without looking into it, okay? So one Kritika is a girl who is putting a hand in the bag to take a ball, but she is not looking at the bag and on the ball. She is looking somewhere else, or she is closing the eyes, you can say, okay? What is the probability that she takes green ball? So what is that? Now first question is probability of getting the green ball, okay? Why I have said green? Because it is a green. In your book it is yellow, but just convert it to green because I have a green sketch mark, okay? So the question is, see, you have to understand the question. This is a bag. In the bag 3 colors balls of the same size have been put in, okay? And Kritika is a student who is going to take a ball, but she has closed her eye. She is not looking at the ball. Because if I will open the eye, then I can easily say that I have taken the green ball. What is the probability? 1. So she has not seen the ball. She is closing the eye. Then the question is, what is the probability of getting a green ball? So if I will say probability of getting a green ball, then what is the definition? Probability means number of event by number of sample space. This is the definition, right? Probability equals to number of event by number of sample space. So that means what all things we have to find? We have to find first number of sample space. Number of sample space. Second is number of event. Fine. Number of sample space means total outcomes. Total outcomes. Let us say she has put in the hand. She might get red, she might get blue, or she might get green. So total outcomes will be possible either equals to either red, either green, or either blue. This is what possible, right? If she will put the hand, either red will come, either blue will come, either green will come. So that means number is how much? This is the sample space. So number of sample space equals to how much? 3. 1, 2, 3. Number of event. What event it is said? Yellow ball, means green ball. So green ball is only one, right? So event is green ball, right? Green. So you can say number of event equals to 1. So number of event equals to 1, number of sample space equals to 3. So I will say probability of getting a green equals to 1 by 3, because number of event is 1, number of sample is 3. Answer is 1 by 3. First question. Second question is red ball. Probability of getting a red ball. Probability of getting a red equals to number of event by number of sample space. Now this sample space will be remain constant in this question, because we are solving the same question, just the event you are changing. First event you have picked the green, second event you are picking the red, third event you will be picking the blue. So number of sample space will be always what? 3. Number of event, it is question is red. Red is only 1, so event will be only 1. Answer will be equals to 1 by 3. Right? Third question will be blue ball. Probability of blue equals to number of event by number of sample space equals to sample space will be always 3, but blue is how much? Only 1, so I will write 1. So here also one answer will be 1 by 3. So you can see that it is so easy to understand, right? Number of event by number of sample space. Event means which particular event you are doing, and sample space means what all possible is outcomes which what all whole possible outcomes. So possible outcomes is red, green and blue. So this is the questions you can see. Okay, next class we will see further on that. Okay, you just go and understand the video and do not solve any question as of now. Just understand the video. I will explain one question, and then once you will start picking the things, I will leave it to you to solve the question. Thank you.